And welcome back to another Paul's Aquariums unboxing video. I am Paul, this is Paul's Aquariums, aquarium shop in Brisbane, Australia for the last 25 years. We're going to unbox a lot of awesome guppies. There's some really nice dwarf cichlids, and if we get time, we're going to show you some other cool fish that have turned up randomly in the week when they're not in this box. Before we get started though, we are going to have a deal on little tiny filters. Have you ever seen a filter that small? Okay, the box doesn't look very small, but that is the filter. Look at that. That is a tiny little 100 litre an hour hang-on filter. I know, awesome for little tiny nano tanks. You could have this in a 20 litre tank, maybe a 30 litre tank, let's say 10 to 20 litre tank if you want a tiny little filter. $19.95, usually $24.95 until the date on the screen. So I sell these online, so paulsaquariums.com, or there's a link thing down the bottom, or just come in and say you've seen them in this video for $19.95 if you want to try one of these super cool little filters. If we get rid of that bit, they have a huge sponge, which is practically, well, that's not really huge, is it? It's eye size. They have an eye size sponge that, yeah, compared to the filter is kind of huge. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I think they're like 2 watts, awesome little tiny filters. They have a year's warranty. But we're going to do random things like this in our unboxing, and hopefully you can get a deal. So if you don't live in Brisbane, we ship all over Australia. Just there's linky things down below, all that. Now that that has been sorted, we have some fish. Actually, no, we don't. These are not fish, these are shrimp. We have, what are they? Red cherry shrimp. Yeah, tricked everyone then, didn't we? Unboxing shrimp. No, we do have fish in there somewhere. These are little tiny red shrimp from China. They like their water temperature anything from 10 degrees to about 24 degrees. And pH-wise, they're kind of weird. They will survive pH of 6, which is really acidic, all the way up to like 7.5 or so. We tend to keep them around about 6.8, sort of 6.5. Slightly acidic, and they do really, really well. They don't like any ammonia in their water, so below 7 the ammonia is non-toxic, and if you get a spike, it's not going to kill your lovely little shrimp. If you mix these with fish, fish tend to try and eat them, so things like little Pygmy Corydoras and Microraspora are probably their best bet. Even things like guppies and neon tetras are going to harass them over time, and if you keep them in with predatory fish like guppies and stuff like that, you'll mostly get sort of brown babies survive because all the colourful ones get picked off. But if you keep them in tanks without any predators, you'll get awesome coloured shrimp, and they generally look nice. Cool little yellow, I was going to say yellow, no, these are red Neocaridina shrimp. Why would I say yellow Neocaridina shrimp unless I have yellow Neocaridina shrimp? Haha, because we have yellow Neocaridina shrimp. Exactly the same as the red ones, but they're yellow. I know, who would have thought? And ironically, if you do mix the yellows and the reds together, sometimes you get orange ones. I know, you wouldn't think it would work, but it does work. I know, there are a lot of different coloured shrimp, but lots of yellow ones back in stock as well. I promised you guppies, here are some guppies. Now, none of these are labelled, so we're just going to guesstimate what they are. We know they're guppies, but what type of guppies I should be saying. These are pretty cool, look at that. They are silver-bodied with orange fins. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So guppies are a Central American fish. They're going to survive between 18 degrees, sometimes a little bit cooler, but below 18 they really don't like life. So let's say 18 degrees up to like about 25, 26 degrees. They are a tropical, subtropical fish. Anything really too cold, they'll go off their food, and that's usually the end of them. So we don't really recommend them for ponds and stuff in southeast Queensland. Spring, summer, they're going to be okay. Winter, this time of year when it's cold, generally not too happy below 18 degrees Celsius, but they are live bearers, which means that the females give birth to live young, and you can have 30, 60 babies per birthing. It is a birthing, it is, I got that right, I'm sure. Per birthing, which is a lot of baby fish. And if you've got plants and stuff in your tank, a lot of the babies are going to survive. And the really cool thing with guppies is they come in absolutely ridiculous amounts of colours and fin types and everything like that. So in this box we have a good 200 different guppies. Look at those. Okay, so those are orange, and they've got a really nice pattern to them. I don't even know what you would call that pattern, sort of snakeskinish maybe? These might be red snakeskin guppies, I'm not entirely sure again on the name, but a whole lot, and there's a weird blue one in there too. I don't know if you can see that one in the bag, kind of see him in the back up the top. Look at him. Oh, he's got cool fins to him as well. He's got black and blue on him. but really, really nice pattern. Again, if you don't want them to breed, just keep all males together. If you're keeping males and females together, you kind of want more females than males, or you want so much dense plants in your tank that the females can fully hide from the males, so the males are not harassing them all the time. Otherwise, the males will keep trying to breed with the females, drive the poor females crazy, and then that'll stress them out big time. And again, if you don't have any hiding places in there, none of the babies are going to survive, because the boys and the girls are going to try and eat their own babies, which is kind of disturbing, but seems to happen with animals, fish, some people. Cut. More red guppies. Okay, so these are Tuxedo Guppies, I'm pretty sure, going by the black on the body. Yes, it is a true name. They do call them Tuxedo Guppies, and that lovely little red tail. Is that red? Is it orange? It's reddy orange. Again, another variation of the guppies. They're all the same fish, but just different tail shapes, different colors. If you line breed them, you will potentially get 99% true popping out in their babies, but you're always going to get that random extra one that pops out, and if you line breed that one, you're going to get all sorts of cool colors. But more guppies. And it's pretty much a safe bet that there are more guppies in the giant guppy unboxing. Oh, look at those. Oh, okay, I'm looking at these for the first time. They have black tails, but look at their bodies. That is like metallic yellow pattern to them. Oh, it's like a mosaic pattern on them. They are really pretty guppies. Shame we don't have the name for them, but they are a really, really cool fish. And you can mix all the colors together as well. If you're mixing all boys, you won't have to worry about them breeding and producing all sorts of weird colors. They are very, very pretty fish. But yeah, ideally pH-wise, you want to keep them anything from 6.8 to about 7.4. They don't like the water too acidic, so go from 7 to 7.2 is an ideal range for them. Anything really acidic and they just don't really cope too much. And yeah, as I said, temperature range, keep them in the sort of low 20s and they'll be quite happy. Really, really pretty fish. Obviously, because they've got big flowing tails, you don't want to mix them with nippy fish, so don't mix them with tiger barbs or slightly bigger rough and tumble fish or cichlids that are going to keep pinching at their tails. Yeah, but you can mix them with, you know, nice, peaceful sort of other bigger Central and South American tetras, schooling fish, all bits and pieces like that. They go really well with platies and swordtails and other live-bearing fish as well. So you can get a nice mixture of really, really pretty fish in a nice community tank. Another bag of guppies, and these look mosaic, maybe? Yeah, there's a lot of mosaic guppies in there, and the mosaic is just that really, really cool pattern. And oh, every single one is different. So good luck trying to pick which guppies you want, because you'll be hours trying to figure out which is the coolest looking guppy. These are going to color up a lot more than what you see on the screen, because it takes them a few days to settle in, and on the screen is only like about a day or so of settling in. So as they settle in, more colors, you get all the multiple iridescent sheens to them, and that super, super pretty little fish. So we've got to have some females in there somewhere. And yes, we have females. Okay, so we should have a lot of females to match with the males. Obviously, those are a red-tailed female. Now, with your female guppies versus your boy guppies, the females don't have as much color on the body. Usually they have a plain brown or yellow body, but they've got the coloring on the tail. So you can kind of match it up with the color of the tail, with the color of the male, if you want to sort of line breed them and have that cool sort of color. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter what females you mix with what males, you're going to get baby guppies. Whether or not they look awesome or weird, weird can be awesome. You're just going to find out once they mature and the babies actually start to get some color to them. But we have a lot of female guppies as well. Probably an equal amount of female guppies as the boys. There's some weird yellow-tailed ones. Oh, okay, there's quite a few, obviously. More guppies, more guppies. What are they? They're weird. Don't even know what color you could call them, but they're female guppies. Lots of female guppies. Okay, now that all the female guppies are out the way, we have some different fish. Look at them. Okay, Southeast Asian. These are red-tailed sharks. Now, they look like a shark, but they don't bite things like a shark. You can technically keep these with guppies. They're going to max out around that sort of 12, 15 centimeters. These are only little, called a red-tailed shark because they have a red tail and they're the sharky shape. They're more of a scavenger as opposed to an actual shark. They don't have teeth. They're just the shape of a shark. Again, a tropical fish, so anything pH-wise from 6.5 to about 7 or so, and yeah, temperature-wise, anything from like 22 to 26 degrees Celsius, and they will be fine. If you keep more than one in a tank though, they can get very territorial and attack each other. Even when they're mature, if you have two of them in like a 4-foot or a 6-foot tank, sometimes they will actually spend the whole time just terrorizing each other. So kind of recommended just one per tank. Otherwise, if you have more than one, just make sure that you can split them if they decide they don't like each other. And again, they also don't like fish that are black with a red tail. So if you've got like black molly with red flecks in it or something like that, or a red-tailed black platy, they're going to think it's another red-tailed shark, and they're just going to keep harassing it until it's not there anymore. So keep that in mind as well. Anything that looks like them is sort of fair game. They're very, very territorial once they mature. When they're this size, you can have a group together and generally not a problem. But red-tailed sharks. Oh, we finally got some of these back in. Okay, these are super, super awesome. I kind of want a pair of these. These are the Sunshine Gold Rams. Now they are not your normal gold rams, which is a dwarf cichlid from South America. And the gold is usually an albino version of your normal blue ram. I know, confused, you should be, but these are a small little dwarf cichlid. They're gonna max out about 5-6 centimeters at the most. You can keep them with guppies, tetras, all that sort of stuff. They do like the water a little bit soft, and soft means low GH or general hardness, which is low mineral content. So if you haven't had much luck with rams, it's because they don't like a lot of minerals in the water. So you can use a mix of reverse osmosis and town water, depending on where you live, or get a GH test kit, check what your GH is, and if it's too high, alter that with adding something to soften your water. You can have water softening pillows or just add RO water to it to just reduce the mineral content in the water. But that's pretty important with these long term, because hard water, they generally just don't survive that long. So if you've had them and you haven't had much luck, you want your pH low, so anything from 6 to 7, and you want your temperature warm, anything from like 25 degrees to 30 degrees Celsius, and not much mineral content. But it looks like males and females, awesome pretty fish, bright yellow, and they do get a little bit of the pink in the belly of the girls, but they don't have all the different colors that your normal rams have. Very, very pretty if you want a nice bright yellow, peaceful little community fish. So cool, and yellow. And more rams. Okay, these are the same as the Sunshine Gold rams, but a little bit smaller and a different color. So these are neon blue rams. So these are the ones that go solid blue. Very, very pretty fish. Just starting to color up in the bag, so hopefully they look blue there. Everything that applies to the Sunshine Gold rams applies to the blue rams. They're just a different color version of your normal blue ram, which is not just blue. Which is very confusing, because these are like electric solid blue. Again, same sort of size, so that 5-6 centimeter max, super peaceful, awesome little fish if you want a little blue fish. And yes, you can mix the blue ones with the yellow ones. I think the babies would probably all look a blue color unless these are carrying the genes for the albino or the sunshine, which I highly doubt they are. So I'm pretty sure the yellow color is recessive, but it could be multi-gene, who knows? You might get a mixture of babies, or you might just get all blue ones, or you may get blue ones and gold ones and normal blue rams. If anyone's bred both together, comment down below. It'll be interesting to see what babies you got. But we have some neon blue rams. Awesome little fish. And it looks like the last bag in this box, then we're going to jump to some cooler fish. Not that these aren't cool, but there are some cool fish down there, are Pygmy Corydoras. Yay, more Pygmy Corydoras. Now these are fine with guppies, these are fine with your rams, these are fine with your shrimp. These are fine with, yeah, pretty much everything we've unboxed so far. So pretty popular little fish. They're going to max out about 2.5 centimeters or so. Very peaceful, very awesome little schooling fish. So you want to keep a group of them. They are from South America, so yeah, anything pH-wise 6 to 7 again, and temperature-wise anything from 22 to 26 degrees Celsius will be perfectly fine. Lovely little schooling catfish. So they're not an algae-eating catfish, but they rummage around the bottom of your tank. They do really, really well in small little tanks. So anything small, heavily planted, a group of these will just go awesome. Very pretty little fish. They've got a lovely stripe to them. Usually when they're schooling, they hover above the substrate, so not like all the other little Corydoras which rummage along the bottom of the tank. These will sort of swim and do a tiny little school of baby little awesome looking fish. Pygmy Corydoras. Okay, now we're going to swing the camera around and show you some other cool fish. And just like that, I am on the other side of the camera. So we're going to start with a few better fish because we get a few random ones come and go and they kind of get missed out in the videos. Now I still have a whole lot of these really awesome half moons, super yellow half moons. I think they're only $26 each. Yes, they are. I got that right. There is a delta. Look at that. Awesome time if you want yellow betta fish. There's quite a few, and there's a few really big double tails as well. I think we've got a whole heap of really pretty fish for about $9.95 as well. Look at that one. That is a very cool betta fish. So obviously betta fish are a tropical fish. You want to keep the temperature for them around that 22 to 30 degrees Celsius. Now you want a decent sized tank. So you want a tank around about 20-30 liters, which is like one of these little tanks down here. These little tanks that they are in at the moment is all on a system. So we have a heater and a filter down the bottom. The water pumps up these little pipes and trickles back into the little tanks. So these tanks are heated as well as filtered. So you can't really keep them anything small long term. Yeah, mainly because they produce a lot of chemical waste. Look at the yellow one there. Okay, we have a lot of really nice yellow orange deltas at the moment. Look at that one. Okay, and another one. How many yellow ones is that? Okay, obviously the yellow ones stand out on camera, but we do have other colors as well. That is a ridiculously lovely fish. If you can see him in the back. I know, it's probably a little bit blurry on the camera, but this is what happens when it's just one-on-one, looking at all the awesome fish. Lots and lots of betta fish. We are going to wander around here now and show you some other cool stuff. Now we did get more. Oh, actually, and I've got a lot of these filters too. I have separate stock online than I do in the shop. So if we look like we've sold out online, send me an email. I can add more on the online shop. And yeah, $19.95. Cool little tiny filters. We obviously stock all their bigger range and stuff like that as well. But we did get some more awesome fish down here. Tons and tons of convicts. More convicts. I have tanks of convicts. Now, if you've never seen a convict before, it's a Central American cichlid, super aggro. So males are these big buffy stripy ones, and the females have the color in the body like that one there. So see how there's sort of speckles in her belly? So those two are about to lay eggs down there in that little pit that they've made. Yeah, we have a lot of pairs, okay? Very easy to get boys and girls. There is another girl under there. Very pretty fish. If you've never bred any fish before, apart from fish like guppies and mollies and swordtails that have live babies, these lay eggs and then they protect the eggs. They are really good at protecting their eggs. So even in this tank with a whole lot of the convicts, that pair there are going to lay eggs, and most likely their fry will survive because they will just go absolutely crazy and chase everyone away. So if you want a pair of fish that's super easy to breed, we have tons of convicts. Another tank of convicts here. Very easy to tell males and females. We can find a nice pair for you. If you want a cool fish to breed that's easy to breed, you ideally want at least a 60-litre tank, so about a 2-foot tank, and you can have a lovely pair of them. Now, we did get some more local bred fish around here. Oh, and we still have some really nice archer fish in this lovely murky tank. Look at them. Oh, we can't even focus. So this is what happens. I don't clean algae, I don't clean the glass, but we have amazingly awesome fish. So if you haven't seen archer fish before, these are the fish that squirt out of the water. They can jump and eat crickets. These are all eating pellets, but they will eat live crickets as well. They're a brackish water to full saltwater fish, so you want your pH alkaline, anything from 7.5 to about 8.5 in pH, and they'll go from a little bit of salt to full marine as well. They're going to get a decent size too, so they're going to max out around that 30 centimeters, give or take. Very pretty fish if you want something a little bit different. Just as I saw those as we're walking past, of course, we got some really nice, fish that I've just completely spooked. We have some really nice Calico bristlenose. There is one underneath the heater, if we can kind of see there. What I might have to do is get in the tank, gently move that around so you can see the tail sticking out of there. If I give that tail a nudge, there we go. That is a Calico bristlenose. So it's another variation of your normal bristlenose suckerfish. The Calico just means it has an orange mottle to it. How pretty is he? So we've got a fair few of these at the moment. a decent size. I think there's a few hiding behind the filter. There's a couple there as well. There's actually a little baby super red still left from the other day. Whoop, oh. Okay, they never want to play on camera, but a really, really nice fish. If you want a sucker fish for your tropical tank and you want something a little bit different, decent sized calicos. There's another one just hiding down there. Can we even focus? There we go. So lots of awesome calicos. And talking about awesome sucker fish, we still have a few peppermint bristlenose left. Very hard to show you in these tanks because they're all over the place, but they are black with the little tiny white dots. There is one right there, going straight to something dark like it's black filter. I think I've still got about half a dozen or so of these left. So like the bristlenose, they are a sucker mouth catfish. They eat algae. They're going to get around about that sort of 18 centimeters, so about 15, 18 centimeters. And they keep the awesome sort of pattern with the black dots to them. There is a normal bristlenose there, but there are still, there we go, some really, really nice peppermints. So I've got all the smaller ones, these little guys and girls in there. And I think, yep, we do. We still have one big boy peppermint left. There he is. That's about as big as they're going to get. Very impressive fish, and they keep the awesome sort of spots to them like that. So if you want a one male peppermint, we have one left. I think he is only going for $60, but he is a decent size. And we have some awesome, awesome freshwater stingrays. Okay, I keep forgetting to tell people we've got them in. These are Matoro stingrays. I think there's 2 boys and 2 girls. Full freshwater stingrays from South America. Obviously, these are bred in Australia. Very, very cool fish. They are venomous like every other stingray, so they've actually got their little venomous spines on the back of their tail, as you can see with those 2 tails there. So you don't want to get stung by them. They're not going to kill you, but you're going to know about it. That venom in them is sort of like getting stung by a really, really bad wasp. Definitely don't get stung by them. But obviously, if you don't play with them, you won't get stung by them. So we suggest don't handle them whatsoever, but very, very cool little things. Now they will get huge. So they're going to get at least a 2-foot diameter of their disc, and their tail is going to be another 1.5 to 2 foot on that. So you want a tank at least 3 to 4 foot wide and 6 to 8 foot long just for one of them. Very, very cool things. They're all bred in captivity. Yeah, an awesome, awesome little fish to keep. Well, not so little, and you do want to keep them slightly acidic, so pH-wise 6.5 to 7, temperature-wise anything from 24 degrees all the way up to about 30 degrees, and they will be fine. Very, very smart fish, but they will eat a lot of other smaller fish. So you just have to be cautious what you keep them with. They are nocturnal as well, so at night they're going to trap fish with their disc, and they got a little mouth underneath their disc where they're going to push and squish the fish into it. So these guys and girls are eating pellets as well as defrosted shellfish. Awesome little stingrays. If you want something completely different for your tank, if you've got a big tank or a heated pool, freshwater stingrays. Okay, that was a fair bit of different stuff for you. If you did like this video, click the thumbs up so I know. If you want to watch more unboxing videos, there'll be more unboxing videos on the screen about now. And thank you very much to all my members. We will see you in the next video. Thanks heaps for watching.